we're going to continue working with our proportions in section 7.3. The difference is here. What we have is we have larger factors in our different pieces of our proportion. And what we have is not just larger factors, but factors that can be canceled or can be reduced. So before I start this problem, I'm just going to rewrite it a little bit bigger so that way we have a little bit of room here. So I'm going to write 50 over n equals 20 over 12. Right, now if we look at 50 and n, 50 is a large number but nothing can be reduced. If we look at our 20 and 12, notice that 20 and 12 are both divisible by 4. So we're going to divide both of these guys by 4. 20 divided by 4 is going to give us a 5. 12 divided by 4 is going to leave us with a 3. Right, so what we're really going to solve is we're really going to solve the proportion 50 over n equals 5 over 3. Right, reducing our numbers at the beginning just makes our arithmetic a little bit nicer. So now we're going to cross multiply and divide. Right, so 5 times n is 5n. 3 times 50 is 150. Right, then we're going to divide both sides by 5. N equals, 5 goes into 15 3 times, so n equals 30. Right. Now, what we have here, we didn't require any long division. Not a lot of arithmetic-based work once we reduced our original fractions. If we would have taken our original problem and written this out, well, we would have had 20n equals 12 times 50, we would have needed a sheet of scratch paper for. Right? 12 times 50 ends up giving us 600. Then we would have had to do division by the 20 to get the fact that n is equal to 30. So if you happen to forget to reduce, that's okay. Right? That's not going to affect your answer. Right? But the idea is here, with bigger numbers requires arithmetic that might take a little bit more work. So if we can do some canceling and make our numbers smaller to begin with, our arithmetic is going to be a little bit easier to handle as we go through our problem. Right, again, at the same point in time, if you forget to reduce, no big deal. You should end up with the same answer either way. All right, so let's look at B. All right, so 42 over 14 equals n over 8. 42 and 14. We can divide them both by 7, but we can also divide them both by 2. Right? That means we can actually divide both of these by 14. Even if you do one or the other, if you divide it by 7 or divide it by 2, that will still help make the problem a little bit nicer. But if we divide these both by 14, 42 divided by 14 is going to give us 3. 14 divided by 14 gives us 1. So we're really solving the proportion 3 over 1 equals n over 8. Now we cross multiply. 1n equals 3 times 8 is 24. If we were to divide by 1, it's not going to change our problem. Right? So n is simply 24. Right, so for C, n over 2 equals 28 over 24. So we're going to reduce 28 and 24. We can divide both of these by 4. 28 divided by 4 gives us 7. 24 divided by 4 gives us 6. Now we're going to rewrite n over 2 equals 7 over 6. I'm choosing to rewrite this middle step just to make it look a little bit nicer. If you want to jump right from here to here, there to there, this to the next step without rewriting in the middle, that's fine. Again, even if you don't want to simplify at the beginning, that also works as well. We have a lot of different options as we're going through these problems. Okay, so then we're going to cross multiply. 6 times n is 6n. 2 times 7 is 14. Divide both sides by 6. Notice that in this case our 6's don't cancel. 14 isn't evenly divisible by 6. right? It cancels on this side, but this side doesn't work out nicely. As far as this goes, we have options. We can write it as a reduced fraction. If we rewrite it as a reduced fraction, both of those are even, so we can divide them both by 2. So we can get n is equal to 7/3. Or if we want to change that to a mixed number, we could get 2 1/3. Or if you really wanted to change it to a decimal by dividing, we get 2.3. The 3 repeats, so we put a little repeating bar over that. So as far as your answers go, when you're working through stuff in MyMathLab or in your homework, if the answer is asked for in a particular fashion, as either a fraction or decimal, make sure you're paying attention to that. Otherwise, if it's a multiple choice question, make sure whatever form kind of matches up. But as you're working through these, do understand that if it doesn't work out evenly, we could have multiple different types of answers.